Ever found yourself checking your wallet and finding more month than money? Now imagine our friend, let's call him Joe. Joe's a regular guy, but this month he's feeling the pinch. Last week he spent an entire afternoon counting pennies. Not for a nostalgic trip down the memory lane, oh no. Joe was trying to gather enough copper cents to pay his rent. Picture that, a grown man with a mountain of pennies, hoping his landlord has a sense of humor. Then there's the saga of his prized comic book collection. Joe, in a moment of what can only be described as sheer desperation, tried to trade Spider-Man's first appearance for a week's worth of groceries. I mean, who needs superpowers when you've got super hunger, right? In the end, he realized the true value wasn't in the money, but in the laughs he shared with his landlord and the grocer. Speaking of financial woes, did you know even Mother Teresa had a funny story about it? Once upon a time there was a man, let's call him Mr. Penniless. He was constantly worrying about his financial troubles. His pockets were as empty as a politician's promises, yet in a twist of fate he found himself face to face with none other than Mother Teresa. She, known for her wisdom and compassion, looked at him and said, "Mr. Penniless, why worry so much about what you don't have? Instead, focus on the richness of your heart." Mr. Penniless, though initially perplexed, decided to take her advice to heart, quite literally. And so began his journey of trying to pay for things with kindness. You might imagine how that went. He tried to buy bread at the local bakery. When asked for payment, he responded with a warm smile and a compliment about the baker's hat. The baker, though confused, couldn't help but chuckle. Next he went to the butcher's. When the butcher asked for money, Mr. Penniless offered a hearty handshake and a sincere "thank you" for the butcher's service. Again, bemusement filled the air, but it was replaced with laughter soon enough. And so it went, Mr. Penniless paying his way with kindness, causing a ripple of humor and warmth wherever he went. Sure, he still had no money, but he was creating a wealth of smiles and laughter. But the story doesn't end there. One day, Mr. Penniless found himself in a situation where his kindness couldn't quite cover the bill. A grim-faced creditor stood before him, demanding payment. With a shrug and a smile, Mr. Penniless said, "I'm sorry, but all I have to offer is my gratitude and respect." The creditor, though initially taken aback, eventually broke into a smile, shook his head and walked away, leaving Mr. Penniless debt-free. Mother Teresa's advice: the most terrible poverty is loneliness and the feeling of being unloved. It turns out our man was rich in ways he never realized. So how do we apply Mother Teresa's advice to our own financial struggles? You might be wondering. Well, let's take a moment to dig into that. Imagine this. You stroll into your favorite coffee shop, the one with the funky artwork, and the barista who knows your order by heart. You order your usual, a double-shot espresso with a dash of caramel. But when you reach for your wallet, you find nothing. Now, instead of panicking, you remember Mother Teresa's advice. You look the barista in the eye, give them your most genuine smile and say, "You know, your coffee makes my day every day. It's like a little cup of sunshine." You've just paid for your coffee with a heartfelt compliment. Sure, the barista might look at you like you've lost your marbles, but hey, you've certainly brightened their day. Or how about this scenario? You're at a fancy restaurant, the waiter has just delivered your meal, and it's time to leave a tip. But alas, your pockets are as empty as a politician's promises. So you scribble down your favorite joke on a napkin and leave it under the plate. Why don't we ever tell secrets on a farm? Because the potatoes have eyes, the corn has ears, and the beans stalk. You've just left a tip that will surely make the waiter laugh. And laughter is, after all, priceless. It may sound absurd, but there is a profound truth here. Mother Teresa's advice isn't about abandoning money or shirking our financial responsibilities. It's about redefining wealth. It's about recognizing that our value isn't in our bank balance, but in our capacity to love, to give, and to bring joy to others. In the end, it's not about how much you have in your bank account, but how much love you have in your heart. And if you're broke in both ways, well, at least you've got a good sense of humor.